Okay, so first question off the bat, pretty easy one. How did you start your career?
Oh, my career started as a short and not that good looking young man, about 13 years old, living
Okay.
on a farm in Grimby. And what I did was I was tired of all the other guys getting the girls. So I thought if I can play guitar, I can get these girls. So I've always been in musical my whole life. But about 13 is when I said I got to get these girls. So I lived in the farm and I was learning guitar and that's kind of where it started. I'm the youngest of four boys, so I like the attention. So I grew up wanting and craving that. And yeah, that was kind of it. I played lots, always loved being kind of that guy that sat in the party or in the room that just played what people wanted to hear and kind of made them smile. And then it kind of just transcended. I would say probably 10 years ago that I got a little more serious about it. Before that, I was still a songwriter. I wrote my first song at 16 years old. But kind of getting more into the semi-professional, professional about 10 years ago, and then just really enjoy having that atmosphere. So it stretches back way far. So
Okay.
35 years. But the stuff that I'm doing now, that kind of, like I said, a bit over the last 10 years. I've been in Edmonton now for 7 years. Just at the beginning of this month was 7 years. So I've been kind of doing it since then up here on a little bit more of a full-time basis. So that's kind of the short, long story of it all.
That's cool. So you said you write songs, right?
You betcha. Yeah.
Okay. How do you have a process when you're writing songs?
I do. I never thought that I did until somebody asked me that question. And I said, okay, let me sit here and think it. So I get an idea and I kind of like, okay, where do I want to go with this? When I was writing kind of solely on my own, I would say I want to write an idea. So, for example, I've got a song called Second Chances, and that song came along. I was just went through a marriage breakup, but I had my kids with me, and so you can hear the words in there. I just start writing. I just kind of come up with the tune and the words and the theme kind of at the same time. And typically, ironic, I usually write the chorus first. So I write the chorus and then I build the verses around the chorus. But it's kind of all at once. So if it's a song like I don't know how many you've heard so far, but if it's something like Maybe, which is more of it's a kind of about a love gone bad and toxicity, but kind of on the other side. Like I'm now fallen out of love and now I'm falling back into life and realizing that everything's meant to be. I hit like an A minor chord and then an E minor chord and then a D minor chord, and it kind of has that minor sound to it. So that kind of drives the lyrics of the song. And then by the time I get into the studio, that's where the final changes come. So sometimes the changes wait that long to come, but that's the process, is kind of meld it all together in the experience that I reach out and grab.
Okay, gotcha. And I have listened to all your songs, by the way, so just gonna
Oh,
throw
cool.
that in there.
So you
But
have the really great album that has the shitty stuff on it, the demos, and then the more polished stuff. Okay, perfect.
yeah. So for like a musical background, does any other of your family members do music or like growing up or your parents or anything like that, or are you the only one?
Yeah, no, well, I'm the only one that's gone this far with it. My mom played guitar when I was a kid,
Okay.
um, but my brother plays a little bit, but my family's all from the East Coast. So I was born in Alberta. They all moved out here in 1973, but all their friends and family that moved out with them kind of at the same time, it's all East Coast music. So from the time that I was a baby, people were coming to our house and they were playing the fiddles and
Oh
banjos and
yeah.
guitar. So it's always, and it wasn't always East Coast music. It was just music, country music, and East Coast and old stuff and new stuff. And then because I'm the youngest of four boys, music's always been in my family, but not musical. So my oldest brother was a 50s, 60s music guy.
Yeah.
Loved that kind of music. My second oldest brother was that 70s rock guy with the fuzz tash and the no sleeves t-shirt type of thing, roll the smokes up in his sleeve. And then my brother that's just older than me is an 80s kid. So my span goes from there, from the 60s and the 50s all the way till now. So I've always been around music, and then of course I was in the church choir and that kind of thing when I was a kid. But there's never really been somebody in my family that says, "Here, I'm a musician. Grab hold of me and follow me." I'm kind of the first person that branched out to performing on stage, writing, releasing music. So they all stand behind me pretty good. But all of my family, my immediate family and extended family, has always been instrumental in my musical tastes and abilities.
Gotcha, that's cool. And just go back with your songwriting. If you ever get stuck on a song, do you have anything to like break away from that, or do something different, or do you just like kind of hope it comes into play?
I put it away. Honestly, I'll set it aside. More recently when I write, because when I wrote when I was 16, it was a pad of paper. So it's actually quite funny because I used to register songs by sending them to myself in the mail. I record them on a cassette,
Hmm.
put it in a registered envelope. I wouldn't open it. So, I've got all these envelopes in my safe that say 1996 and 1992. And most recently now I'll write them on my notes. So I'll sit on my Apple, my MacBook, or on my phone and type the words. If I get stuck, I just go away from it,
Hmm.
and then I'll come back later and write. Um, Thankfully, I've only had that a couple times. There's one song, if you've got it there, it's called "Taken," Spirit of a Child.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
right. So that one is, I'll tell you the unique story. I don't know if I'm jumping into your other questions, but that one I wrote, my wife came out and said, I had this dream that somebody came and said, Daddy doesn't talk to me anymore. And I said, that's kind of cool. Let's write it. And then she actually was thinking more of a military, like this is somebody comes back from the war and having PTSD. I'm like, I was never a soldier. I can't do a song,
Yeah.
something I can't identify with. We still wrote it. So we wrote it from the kid's point of view. And honestly, I said, I don't know. The kid sounded like the kid killed his mom or the dad killed his mom. Like it was a pretty weird song. It sat for 2 years. I sang it a couple times, but it sat for 2 years until it was January 1st of 2020 that I said, I'm going to pull this song back out. I'm going to play it for the first show kind of back from COVID. It was right in that COVID break. And because it was Canada Day, another friend of mine actually put on her Facebook, I have a Canadian flag and it's all tattered and torn, but I'm going to leave it up there because of what was going on with the Indian reservations and the schools, right? And
Hmm.
all the bodies being found. And the song clicked. And I only changed a few words. I didn't change the essence of the song. And the song actually transcended into that residential school.
Right.
And that's where the song, most of that song was written. Like the one line in there that makes my hair still stand up on end is can't go home, can't stay here, feels like it's been 100 years. That was in the song long before I even thought about the residential schools, before they even found the bodies. And now that has a different, it had a different meaning to it. So I guess that would be my real song that really was blocked for 2 years, and then the real meaning came about. We hit the studio and put it on. That's why it's got that haunting fiddle in there, and it's got kind of that, I kind of yell in the song, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of cool. So yeah, the songwriting process sometimes is pretty fast, but stuff like that, it has to, the song writes itself. That's kind of what I believe.
Hmm. That's a good point to the song and the story of it. What makes you want to do this like as a career? Because there's probably plenty of other opportunities for you to do something else. What makes you want to do this?
I love the entertainment value. Not that I'm great with it, but I love that I can get in front of a crowd and make that crowd have an evening that they wouldn't have otherwise. They go
Hmm.
away happy, they go away smiling. When they go away from a show of mine, I'm very interactive. I'll sing my originals. A lot of my originals have tongue in cheek. They're kind of fun.
Hmm.
So they like that. And I have that ability. Like the other night, somebody called out an old Roger Miller song, and I played it, and he couldn't believe it.
Hmm.
I had two girls in Leduc, or sorry, Airdrie. I had two girls in Airdrie come in, and they tried, because I wear a cowboy hat when I play,
Yep.
and they tried to stump me, and they said, "Oh, you play Def Leppard." So I played "Pour Some Sugar on Me," and it's that kind of stuff. When
Yeah.
I'm doing Metallica, Enter Sandman, or Nothing Else Matters, and then I go to George Jones or Roy Orbison, and it's creating that evening or whatever event that they're smiling and laughing. They may not remember my name, unfortunately, but sometimes they don't. But they remember that that was the coolest birthday I ever had. That was the coolest outing I ever had.
Right.
That guy made me feel like I was the only one in that room. That's the entertainment value. my writing is great. I love to write. I love to leave something legacy for my kids to listen to when I'm dead and gone.
Hmm.
But for me, it's that entertainment that when they go away. Right now, I do this residency at the Sawmill in Edmonton, and every show they go away thinking that was pretty cool. Like he played everything, and he played the stuff I didn't think. He's playing Billy Ray Cyrus, and he's rapping the Old Town Road, that kind of fun
Yeah,
stuff. So it's just that entertainment. So it's seeing that reaction of the people that keeps me enjoying this career and putting it together. Yeah.
that's cool. And speaking of that kind of level, what's it like performing on stage for you? Like, do you get nervous sometimes, or scared, or are you just enjoying it?
When I get on right when I get on stage, I enjoy it because by that point, if I'm not ready, I'm not ready.
Hmm.
But my nerves come 2 or 3 hours before the show. I
Okay.
drive around with my wife and I'm like, what am I gonna do? What song am I gonna start with? How am I gonna roll this out? Who's
Hmm.
all gonna be there? And especially if it's for somebody, maybe somebody's birthday party or a backyard party, or when I open for Gord Bamford or I open for Dr. Hook, and my mind's going saying, is this crowd going to enjoy this? But the moment that I walk out on stage, it's kind of like I got to leave it all here. I'm just going to pour it out because there's nothing I can do now. If I screw up the words or I screw up the chord, I'll smile and laugh my way through it, and they'll do the same. Or I'll change out words in a song. But the nerves come, yeah, about 2 hours before the show.
Gotcha. And speaking of like just before you're performing and right after you're performing, do you have any like rituals or anything that you do before the show or after the show, or is it just kind of come in and just do your thing?
No, before the show, I pee.
Okay.
For the show, but I don't eat anything. I have this problem. I can't eat before a show because I think that's probably some of the subliminal nerves of mine. It's like
Right.
I can't want to go up there. My pre-show ritual, I actually talk to people. So I move around. If it's a concert venue where I'm out in the auditorium, right? So I'll talk to people. What do you want to hear? What are you here for? Is it a special day? I'll kind of connect those things because when I'm on stage, I am interactive and I talk to people. If I'm at someplace like the Mill or I'm someplace that's somebody's party, I'll go talk to everybody beforehand and just kind of find out where you're from, what are you doing, and it's just connecting with that audience one on one. And then when I'm on stage, I point them out.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever seen the Bare Naked Ladies, you see they kind of have that flavor of a local flavor for every show.
Yep.
And I really like the Bare Naked Ladies. So I take that kind of spirit. And the other night, I think I wrote a song standing in front of somebody because they were a teacher. I said, okay, let's write you a song right now. So I'm writing a song, not one I'm ever going to record, but just kind of making up the words and
Yeah.
playing a song. And I do that quite often at the show. So, but that pre-show ritual is really, let's just talk and get a feel for the audience. And then the
Okay.
post ritual is the same thing. I take off the guitar, and if it's a place that you have a drink, I have a drink. Otherwise, if it's, I just kind of make my way through the crowd, talk to everybody, see if they've enjoyed their evening. And quite often I might grab the guitar again and say, okay, let's do a little less of acoustic set where I'm just sitting with you playing a couple songs. What is they'll say, my grandpa used to play this. Okay, well, let me play it for you. That kind of thing. So it's really creating that atmosphere.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And do you per se where was I? What was I gonna say? Sorry, I went blank there.
That's okay.
Um, have you ever had a weird encounter with any fans, like some like when you're performing?
Yeah, they want to come up because I make it so almost familiar with them. And this
Right.
happened. Actually, funny that you say that. This Saturday night was a perfect example. I talked to them. And at the Mill, I have a wireless headset and I have a
Mm.
wireless guitar pack. So I actually come off the stage and I walk in between the tables, right?
Right.
And so I'll put it on. And I think sometimes they think it's so familiar that it's just their show. They came up on stage and started singing and
Yep.
started. I have had another guitar player, and they're poking my guitar player, telling my guitar player he's off. They're a little bit drunk, so I can handle the hecklers pretty good. I can handle the ones that come up there, but that's usually the extent of it. Everybody else is just enjoying it, singing it. If I hear them singing and hear them, I'm pretty good gauging. If I hear them singing and they're on tune pretty good and they're not drunk, quite often I'll bring them up and I'll say, okay, well, let's sing the song. You're asking for the song. How about you sing it? And I'll play it. And that just makes their day, and
Right.
everybody at the table has their camera out. again, it's that experience that they have. And I always said, I'm selling emotion. I'm not selling my songs. I can sit
Mhm.
at my kitchen table and sing anything I want to myself, but I'm selling an emotional evening for this person. There was one lady 2 weeks ago. I had a show, and she came and she said her brother died on Christmas, just this past Christmas.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, well, what can I do for you then? Like, what would you like? Well, she says, can you play this song? Okay. So my stuff's usually pretty energetic and powerful. It was a slow song. I think it was a Brad Paisley song. And I brought somebody else to hold my phone. So they're holding my phone like this in front of me while I'm playing the song.
Yeah.
And that kind of crowd interaction. So every show is different. Every fan is different. It's just when they get really at home and think they can come up and be my best friend on stage. Sometimes I got to boot them off, but nothing too crazy. I haven't had my hair cut off or anything.
Oh, that's good. And then on the flip side, what's one of your best fan encounters? Like, you know what I mean? Something that really just made your heart melt.
Oh my gosh, I can tell you exactly what it is. I was opening for Gord Bamford, and for an artist, are you an artist? Did you play at all?
Not really. In school, I do bass guitar, and I kind of just do bass guitar for fun, but like nothing to the
Okay.
extent of any like musicians.
So the coolest thing for a songwriter is when that crowd sings your words back to you.
Oh yeah.
So imagine Garth Brooks does it. He does it with Unanswered Prayers. Every concert he goes to, the crowd knows it. He sings about the
Hmm.
first three lines and they sing it to him. That's Garth Brooks. I'm not Garth Brooks. Not in the least. I may have the same hairline and the same color hat, but I have a song called Second Chances, and I sang the first verse of it, sang the chorus, and during the second time I went to the chorus, the audience was singing.
Right.
They didn't, and it's not like they went and downloaded my music ahead of time. It was just that's the coolest thing. And then I had another one. I was in Fargo's here in Edmonton, and I just wrote a song. And said, "You guys want to hear something I just wrote?" So, and I had to again. My cousin was there who sings with me sometimes, and he's holding my phone because my lyrics are there. And after the first time I sang that chorus, which is a kind of a beer swilling song, kind of a funny chorus, there's like five verses to the song. The audience sang that chorus back to me after hearing it once.
Hmm.
And that to me, as a songwriter, as the best kind of fan experience is when they're singing that song back to you.
Right.
I think it happened again. They happened on Saturday night. I have a new song, and this lady was singing the chorus because it was pretty easy chorus to catch, and it's just that to me is really cool. It's cool when I'm singing. I would walk 500 miles and everybody's singing
Yeah.
with it, or Country Roads, or you know, We Shall Be Free, or something cool. But when it's your own song, that still makes my hair stand up on end. Pretty cool.
Gotcha. And how has it ever happened, or how does it feel when you're, for example, doing a set and all that, and then you got people that are not interested? Like, does that bug you at all, or are you?
Used to, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it used to bother me a lot. But I've now take it. I don't take it personally. That was when you take it personally. So an artist that takes anything anybody does there personally, that's
Mhm.
kind of the first mistake, because then it takes the energy down. When that starts to happen, and it happens to this day, when I play something like the Mill, where you have everybody kind of comes, they eat their supper and they leave, and then you're waiting for the next crew to come, and it seems like they're disinterested. I just slip into songs that I normally don't play then, because normally my songs that I play are something that they've all heard before. So now I'll slip into something new I've been working on. I'll slip into a new arrangement of something like I don't know if you know the artist Jonathan Roy. He's got a couple cool ones. So
Mhm.
once in a while, I'll grab Jonathan Roy and just play that and see how's this going to go over. And then they clap afterwards, or if they're quiet, I just call it quiet appreciation.
Yeah.
It's when they come up and say you're too loud, then I know they're annoyed. But I don't. I take it as almost an opportunity to play something slower. I play Wicked Game by Chris Isaac, and so I
Mhm.
slip that in there, and that's it. And then I wait. I do about three or four of those, and then I have enough songs in my little brain of mine that I can pull. I'll do Sweet Caroline, and somebody suddenly they're all back with me,
Yeah.
right? So I kind of let them do the ebb and flow. But yeah, it used to annoy me before. Now it's just kind of like, no, this gives me the opportunity to try something new that I can really enjoy rather than the old standards.
Right. Do you have a specific genre you'd like to call yourself, or anything like that?
Yeah, it's funny. It's called acoustic music with a twist.
Hmm.
So I do country. Country is my what I write. Like it's if you were to classify it, it's kind of country. It's not traditional stuff, but I will do. If you ever come to one of my shows, or if whoever's listening comes to a show, the minute that I start playing "The Look" by Roxette,
Oh yeah.
that's my gauge that the party's starting. People are happy, they're joyful. That's when I always say when I bring out Roxette, you know the party's hopping. And then I'll do a blues version of Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. And then I'll do Old Town Road. But then I'll go like right to George Jones. So
Right.
I call it acoustic music with a twist because you don't know what's coming. Bon Jovi, I do You Give Love a Bad Name, but they don't know what it is when I started out because it's kind of slower, and then we get into the Shot Through the Heart, You're Too Blame, that kind of stuff. But so I always call it, the genre is really acoustic music with a twist, so it covers everything from Johnny Horton to Metallica and everything in between.
Gotcha. And do you have any regrets about your career so far, or anything you would change differently? That if you were to look back on what you've done?
I would say I would probably spend a little more time and pick the right people to produce my songs that I released. I released one album, which was just kind of a collection of everything called Here and Now, demos and other things. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was stuff that,
Mhm.
right. So that was the first one I recorded. So everything is one track. Everything is like get in the studio, play it, and then release it. Like I didn't have it mastered. I didn't have any of that stuff. And that was one of my regrets is that I tried doing it myself. I think an artist that tries to self-produce, it's a mistake. You need to have a team. Of course, that was back, when I did the Second Chances version that's on that album, it was 2000, right?
Right.
The very last song on that called I Only Want to Be Your Man Unplugged was 1995. And I did everything myself, thinking I'm so smart. I can play the guitars, I can play this, I can play that. And you need a network. You need a crew of people that are smarter than you to succeed. When I released Ineffable, which is the EP that's got the four tunes on it,
Hmm.
which has I think has Maybe, it's got Your Eyes Say a Thousand Words, the full version. That had a producer. I didn't play any instruments on that. Like I let the professional guitar players play. I let the professional bass, the professional fiddle player, and then really get it mixed and mastered by the person the person that recorded it mixed it. Somebody new mastered it because a good set of ears. So now it's let's use the people that are professional at this rather than thinking I'm so good. So that's one of my regrets is there's some pretty cool songs and there's some pretty bad songs on that. but but some stuff I'd like to redo. But I would redo it with a team this time.
Gotcha. And what are the happiest moments of your career so far?
Oh my gosh, there's some that are fat. It's making people enjoy the show that they didn't think they were going to get there. If it's a 90-year-old grandma that's suddenly singing with me because and you see her eyes light up, that's it. It's the 5-year-old that's at the so I played out at Vagerville and there's 5 and 3-year-old kids playing there and I'm playing Bon Jovi and suddenly I look at them and I do Baby Shark and their eyes light.
Yeah.
I'm playing Shark and they're singing and the opportunities for them to think because they don't know who I am. They don't, generally 90 years old or 50 years old. If they know who I am, it's great. But I'm just another singer on stage. But at the end of the day, if they say that was cool, I got up there and sang Bobby McGee with this guy, and he let me sing and he harmonized with me,
Yeah.
and I became the star of that moment. They'll remember that for their entire lives. And I say, oh, that was part of my show. That's a really cool thing to say. They're going to remember that experience. So it's those things like that, like the kids, the older people that just come out of the woodwork. What would I have given when I was 15 years old? If somebody would have called me up on stage and let me sing a song, I would remember that my entire life.
Hmm.
But I
Right.
remember I met some celebrities, and that handshake I remember for the rest of my life. And I was just another hand they shook.
Yeah.
So if I can give anybody that, that's a cool experience for anybody.
Gotcha. So what's one of your favorite places you've ever played?
Oh, favorite places. I love playing the Esplanade in Medicine Hat. The
Okay.
sound is pretty phenomenal. Um, that to me is great. Unfortunately, the station just closed here. They have a really good sound people where I don't have to think about the sound. I can just go out and play. Some of them are the backyard parties when somebody has a summertime, they'll say, "Can you come and play for 2 hours?" And those are some of my favorite shows because I'm right in the middle of everybody. There's not a stage between them and I. It's just
Right.
me standing in a corner with the mics in front of me, and you know, I just start off quietly. I call it boiling a frog. So like they don't know they're getting boiled right now. They're just saying this little. I'm playing a few quiet ones, and then I break into rock set, and from that point on, now
Right.
they're singing, now they're partying, now they're cheersing, and I become a fabric of the evening. That's the stuff that I really enjoy.
Gotcha. And is there any particular people that you've played with or toured on with or like anything like that that you that kind of stood out and like raised the bar and you're like, oh my gosh, these guys are amazing.
Yeah, a lot of them are local independent guys, but a big shift came for me. I opened for Dr. Hook. So the
Hmm.
legendary Dr. Hook was on his farewell tour. And I'm used to playing to a crew, maybe 50, 100 people. Well, there's 750 people in this place waiting to see him.
Hmm.
And they send out to play acoustically for 45 minutes. And that's cool because I did maybe two of my original songs because they don't
Hmm.
come to hear that, they come to hear the fun stuff. And it was so cool to hear them with me, and then having the lights and having the sound guys, and so it was really cool, especially when I do, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. It was my finisher for a long time. To have 750 people sing that with me, that's pretty cool. So
Right.
those times are really cool. Like when Gord Bamford, I opened for him, played with JD Bixby, kind of backed him up on guitar and played some cool stuff with him. All that stuff is pretty right on. Like anytime you can get with somebody that can really play and just get that kind of cool feeling. When you're not the best player in the room, that's the best option.
Hmm.
When you're the best player, the best singer in the room, you're in the wrong room. You should be always trying to get better, and surround yourself with people that are better.
Gotcha. Is there any venues or places that you haven't played that you want to play?
Oh, I'd love to play the wind spear here.
Oh yeah, that place is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I'd love to play it because you can get in there and you can whisper on the stage and everybody hears it.
Yeah.
So I would love to play the wind spear. Um, the Juba would be cool, depending who was if I was opening for somebody, if I was playing. But I think the Wind Spear is really kind of that venue that would be cool. I think it sits about, I don't know, is it 1,700 people or 2,000 people, and it would be cool just to play the tunes there.
Right. And just a general question. If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be?
Oh, I think I would get guitar lessons. So I'm pretty good on my own, but I wish that I would have a few more technical abilities for it. So I don't play lead. I don't play a lot of lead stuff, but I think it would be that so that I could play along with other people.
Hmm.
um, and contribute. I do a lot of strumming. I do a lot of picking. I do a lot of kind of in between stuff. But I really wish I would have taken that kind of the kind of. I've never had lessons. I just had a guy show me some chords and then just put the cassette tapes in and play to those cassette tapes. But yeah, that's
Gotcha.
one of the things.
Okay. So this kind of part of the segment I like to do is a Q&A where I get to learn a little bit more about you, right? Just to know about your everyday self. So, what's your favorite color?
Favorite color is blue.
Okay, why is it blue?
It's blue because my dad told me his favorite color was blue when I was a little kid, and I wanted to be like my dad. So it's always been blue.
Gotcha. Do you have any animals?
I do. We have two cats
Oh, okay.
from hell. I mean cats. Yes.
Yeah,
Funny is the name of one, and Latte is the name of the other.
those are awesome names. But do you have a favorite animal?
Bear,
Interesting choice.
right?
Yeah,
Love bears. That's my favorite animal of all time.
gotcha. Um, so you said how many? And you said you had three brothers, was it, or
Yeah, three older brothers.
right? Is that all your siblings, or do you have more?
Nope, that's it. Got three older brothers, and they're all married and got kids, and I'm married, got kids and grandkids, and parents are still around, and yeah, big family.
That's cool. And what would you say? What would you say if someone told you that you could play the Grand Ole Opry tomorrow? Would you take up that opportunity?
In a heartbeat. That's probably the venue I should have said. I actually thought that after like the
I was
Knicks did
thinking
it.
about that. I was like, well, that's you'd be surprised how many people don't say that. And I'm like, well, I'm surprised, but makes sense.
Well, and that's the Grand Ole Opry to me, it's not an unattainable dream. It's just
Right.
one that it would be cool. Like I would love to have it, and I would love to see my mom sitting there.
Yeah.
My mom watching me the Grand Ole Opry. That would be cool. But yeah, no, the Opry would be an awesome to stand in that center stage right on that old wood. That would be cool.
Such a historic place.
Yeah, no, what if those walls could talk? If that wood could talk, they stand on, and you know, the best thing I've heard from there, because I have some friends that played there, like it's pretty cool, is
Yeah.
that once you step backstage, there's no ego. There's no, if somebody's standing there, Brad Paisley could be standing there and he doesn't act like he's Brad Paisley coming into Rogers Place because he's got to have security. He's just standing at your dressing room door.
Yep.
Or Loretta Lynn just passed away, but she was quite famous for that. She would stand there when the artist came off, whoever they were, and tell them either they did a good job or this is what you could work on. Like
Mhm.
it's so constructive. It's almost like it's such a cool environment to be in with your heroes.
Right. And getting onto that, do you have any favorite artists? And if so, yeah, who are they?
Yeah, I do. I started playing guitar when Garth Brooks first hit the scene, so I really like that. I really kind of, not just because it's Garth Brooks, like everybody's like, oh, we love Garth Brooks. The guy, his entertainment value and his standards for that and doing things for people is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like what he does for his fans without even thinking, and he creates that. There was
Mhm.
for years he never won male vocalist of the year, but he always won entertainer of the year
Yeah.
because you don't have to sing good, but if you can entertain and change that life, like he knows that. He doesn't do it egotistically.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have to play, but he does.
Right.
He's pretty cool that way. So that's one of them. I said I love the Bare Naked Ladies. I love the crowd interaction. I think it's that entertainment value. Like they
Mhm.
pick up the crowd and go. I was in Red Deer at one of their shows, and this little kid who was about 5 years old dancing in the aisles, and the security kept trying to tell him to go back to his seat. And so they stopped the show and said, oh, I think he can dance in there. And they played Footloose as kind of a funny little homage.
Yeah.
Well, kids can't dance. And then they played Footloose just
Yeah.
to make a point. So it's that kind of fun stuff like that. Johnny Cash was my first concert I ever went to. Phenomenal. Back in 1986, it was cool. So I like the Oak Ridge Boys. I love the harmonies.
Yeah.
Um, that kind of stuff. So, like, it's a huge span of people. If they can sing well and they can present well, that's what I really like. And again, the Oak Ridge Boys, I've got two of them on Facebook, and one of them we constantly talk. Like where
Yeah.
we have a good communication. He gives me hints, and when I ask him too many things, he says, "Well, that's too many things to ask." But like I always search for more information, right?
Right.
Um, so yeah, like it's those guys that are out there for the fans. They really think the fans are what the nucleus is.
Right. And just a curious question. Do you have any merch or anything like that? Or
I do actually have jewelry, which is quite funny. When we released Ineffable, my wife ordered rings and earrings and wrist bracelets and loads of stuff that way. I'm just in the transitioning back into some more shirts. And of course, I like everybody else, I have CDs. Most of the younger kids don't know what those are.
yeah, it's kind of funny. I love CDs, but I can't play them in my truck 'cause my truck it only plays tracks, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And cassette,
yeah.
it's all cassette tape, so I'm kind of upset. So,
Uh, that's fine. Yeah, so I gave one to my daughter because, of course, in the EP, I have a little acknowledgement in there. My daughter is 17, my youngest one, and she looks at me. She goes, "Dad, I'm not 50. I don't have a CD player." so I have a little bit of merch. They can catch it on Facebook if they go to Bob Donaldson Music. There's like a little store area there, and it's all unique stuff. It's unique, from necklaces. There's some male, some female stuff. So
sounds like I'm
we're
gonna have.
just here.
That's
What's that?
cool. Sounds like I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
get some merch.
Ah, perfect. I'd be happy. Are you in Edmonton? Is that where you're located?
Leduc.
Oh, the Duke. Okay, not too
Yeah.
far. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
And I'm gonna give you the floor. So anybody you want to shout out or anything you want to talk about, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, of course. Thanks to my mom. Say hi to my mom. Hi, mom. She's been always an inspiration. Um, No, I just really appreciate our area. So the music industry in Edmonton, the crowds and the people are actually really good to independent artists. So I'm really thankful for that. Like I shout out to them, the crowds, because they don't look for the A level guys or even the B level guys. They say, "Where's the indie guys playing? Let's go listen to the indies." And then they support. They do buy the merch. They buy the merch. They buy the album. I had a guy buy two CDs and then tell me he doesn't have a CD player, but he
Yeah,
wanted to support, right? So there's that kind of stuff. So shouting out to them, shout out to the um for sure the community leagues. For some reason, community leagues are really booking independent artists. I got a couple that I go and play at frequently, and they book me over and over again. Like
yeah.
it's cool that they're bringing that to their people. So um I just appreciate that people are there listening, and then that they give honest feedback. Like it's pretty cool.
Right.
um Trying to think of what else would be the now that I have the floor. Follow me on social media. That would be my floor. So
And of course,
follow me now.
I'll get you links and all that and put it in the description so that I don't know
Right
how
on.
many. It could be 2 people, it could be 10 people, but that way, that's there for them. So if they, hopefully they would check you out. So
Well, two people is two people. That's awesome.
exactly, better than no people. So I'm hoping I can get
You're
one.
right. Exactly. Where do you put your interviews out at? Are they on a podcast? Or are they?
Um, well, it's just gonna be on YouTube, and basically, the only reason why I'm doing this is just, I want to be a journalist, so it's just to get recognition out there that, if people ask what have you done, I can show them that I've interviewed people and all that, right? But then the bottom and main part of it, I just want to get recognition and people to realize about the up and coming and under the radar artists that no one really looks at, like you and
Mhm.
like some others, just so that because they produce the same level of talent, talent and same amount of good music. It's just that they're not being backed as hard or like pushed as much as the mainstream guys. So I just I have great admiration and love for the indie and like for like the people that hardly are recognized because they do the same thing. It's just that they should be recognized more.
No, I really appreciate that. It's pretty awesome. If there's ever a time that you want to, if you're watching my socials, you see that I'm doing that Saturday Night Live show.
Yeah,
If there's anybody there that you want to catch on too, because I bring special like featured guests in, I
right.
can I can get you hooked up with that. Or if you want to come to one of those shows and kind of do kind of an interview live there, that's cool too. Like whatever you need from my side is cool too.
Right, and I appreciate that. That means the world to me.
Thanks.
I hope I just get the word out and let indie guys or like people that have a couple followers, let them know that I'm doing interviews for whoever. Like if you're a musician, hit me up. That's all I got to say. Like I'm not going to be. There's no tier level for me. Like some podcasts and some people are like, oh, I want guys with like so much clout so that way I can be recognized. I don't care about clout. I don't.
Gotcha.
So
No, that's good. Let me know the link. Let me know the link when you get it all done, and I'll blast it out too from my music side. Plus the 27 Friends Productions is also me. So that's me and my wife.
okay,
We have that event entertainment production company. So we're
okay.
happy to blast it out everywhere. Maybe even
And
tie it into my. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. You finish.
Oh, I said I can even tie it into my booth for my Sean McCann show. I'm bringing Sean McCann from Great Big Sea in.
Oh yeah. Huge.
Do you have the podcast or the YouTube thing ready? We can get it sent out there too.
Gotcha.
Kind of capitalize on all that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And last thing here, if you want to ask me any questions, you can go ahead. I'm an open book. So,
Sure. So, how did you find me?
all right. Well, this is actually kind of long, but I'll put it in the short form for you. So, there's a website called Alberta Music, and
Hmm.
with that website, there comes thousands of artists and bands. And me deciding, well, how am I going to reach out to so many low level, like well, not low level, but under the radar and like not well known people, and then when I don't even know who's in my local area, right? So I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I just searched up like Alberta musicians, and Alberta Music was there. So I clicked on it, saw the people. I'm like, well, you gotta start somewhere. So I basically emailed almost every single person in Alberta Music, which was probably in around 1,000 people I emailed. Took about 3 days. So and
Gotcha.
I was just hoping and praying that people would respond, and that hopefully the emails were still good.
Gotcha. Do you get lots of response back?
Not too many. Like maybe 10, which is kind of expected. Some bands have broken up, and then some people just kind of retired and all that. And so I'm hoping that I can get more people to keep this going, because I don't want it to be like 10 people and then nothing for the next year. You know what I mean? I want to consistently find people. So hopefully I can consistently find people.
I'll do some stuff this week for you. Because I got your email. I'll shoot you
Hmm.
some names and
Okay.
then let them know that you'd be in touch with them. I can get you some good guys too.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's good for now. I hope we can do it again sometime, and we can, any events that you see on there that you want to come to, for sure, come on out, and we can make sure everybody knows you're there. And I'm happy to promote your stuff. So that's
Well,
pretty cool.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great evening, and I thank you again for letting me do this with you. So it was very fun. Probably from what I'm gonna mark it down as the funnest interview I'm gonna have all year.
Yes,
I'm gonna
that's what we
mark it
want to
down
stick
that
with.
because I could not stop
If
smiling and laughing at all.
Well, that's good. If you find one that's funner, then call me back. We'll do it again. We'll do another one. We'll just do part two.
Sounds good. Hopefully, I can make it look a little bit more real and authentic than me holding my phone while my arm is falling asleep.
It's okay. We're both doing the same thing, so it's all good.
uh,
It's all good, man. Well, you take care and good luck in everything that you're doing. And like, if there's anything you need, reach out. I'm happy to put you in touch with whoever we can to get some more of these interviews and promote the heck out of them. I have lots of side stuff too that I can work you into, so it'd be kind of cool.
well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and hopefully we talk soon.
Okay, thanks so much, Dylan. Okay,
Goodbye.
say bye bye.